Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Kardec Radio. My name is Deise Galan, and this is our daily prayer program. It's an opportunity for us to be together here, raising our thoughts, praying, reading a message, and meditating. We have so much, friends, to be thankful for, to be here in this moment, but we also have so much to pray for. In these very important times in our planet, we are being asked to double our prayers. It means that whatever we pray, we need not only to continue the effort to do it more often, but also to pray really from deeper in our hearts. That is the main important message, that we have this thoughtful conversations with God so that we can raise our vibrations and at the same time help those who are in much, much greater need than us at this very moment. So thanks so much for joining us. I see Betty and Saul Souza and so many others. If I don't see you here in the comments, we welcome you to our program. And we're gonna start with a short initial prayer so that we can together raise our thoughts. And then we're gonna read a beautiful message by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier and comment before we do our final prayer. So I invite you now, if you can close your eyes. We ask that at these moments, we know sometimes it's hard to stop. We are maybe there on social media and our computers, but it's very important if you can, at this very moment, to stop what you're doing. Invite those who are around you. If you have family member, friends, invite them to join you. It's a short moment, but very, very important. So with that, we also ask you to, if you have a cup or a glass of water that you want to put it next to you, it's during these times, your mentor, the mentors who are connected through Kardec Radio, really use these moments to do true healing, therapeutic moments for all of us. So if you have a cup, a glass of water next to you, after it, you can drink it throughout the day, and it's gonna just continue with this treatment session. So with that, I invite you for our initial prayer. So we now raise our thoughts to our Divine Master. Dear Jesus, you who have come 2,000 years ago to show us the pathway, to bring us the good news that until today we are trying to grasp the magnitude of your teachings, who were greater than words, but through your actions, your nonverbal language. Dear Master, you now bring a new challenge to humanity, as we need to better understand how to live our lives. Through this pandemic, we ask that we can use these moments to meditate on the lessons and the inner renewal that we need in order to also renew our planet. Open our hearts and our minds that we can use this moment to recalibrate ourselves. We can also use these moments to pray for those connected with us, but also our brothers and sisters in humanity who are at this very moment suffering very dearly. Those who are in hospitals, nursing homes, shelters, refugee camps, prisons, and even those who are on the streets without a shelter under their heads. We also pray dearly for our brothers and sisters who have discarnated in such tragic and also unexpected ways for them, because we know for you nothing is unexpected. Everything there is a reason. Help them being rescued and receive the comfort that they need at this very moment so that they can receive the treatment with much gratitude in our hearts for these moments of prayer and reflection. We ask your permission to start our daily prayer of today. And so be it. Hello, dear friends. I see many of you here with us. So today we're reading a message from this book, The Way, the Truth, and the Life, was psychographed by Chico Xavier by our dear spirit Emmanuel. So today's message is number 144. The title of this message is, What Do We Have to Do with the Christ? Mark in chapter 1, verse 24 quotes, Ah, what do we have to do with you, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. And Emmanuel explains to us, it is a big mistake to believe that the Divine Master finished his work on the Calvary. Jesus continues to walk in every direction in the world. His redemptive gospel is triumphing little by little on the terrain of human hearts. This fact must be remembered, for evil spirits are trying to repel the Lord every day. Here, the evangelist is referring to the evil spirits that took over a man's body. However, such infernal intelligences continue to dominate vast organizations on Earth. In the political area, for instance, which was created to maintain the principles of divine order, they appear under the names of discord and tyranny. In the area of commerce, formed to establish fraternity, they appear under the names of ambition and selfishness. And in religion and science, which are sacred organizations of universal progress. They answer to the names of pride, vanity, dogmatism, and sectarian intolerance. It is not only in the human physical body that can suffer obsession by evil spirits. Human organizations and institutions suffer much more from it. And when Jesus draws nigh through the gospel, people and organizations quickly ask, what do we have to do with the Christ? That is, what do we have to do with the spiritual life? It is necessary to be on the alert in the presence of such subtleness, for the enemy has also infiltrated the circles of evangelical spiritism, dressed in the glistening tunics of false knowledge. While, dear friends, Emmanuel has always is such an educator and a masterful, because in very few words, right? Is actually, if you look at this, is you see it's only one page, right? It's, if you have it all, will be under all in one page, but it's so deep. So let's reflect on this and break this down together, all of us, because he, in such a short message, brings us so much to reflect. So he's talking here, he started talking about Jesus and how Jesus came to teach us, but that his lessons didn't stop there at the cross. It actually continues on and continues on. It's been 2,000 years, right? And we are here studying about the Master, talking about not only the lessons that he left us through the disciples, but mainly through his example, right? Our dear Master, the governor of our planet. But then Emmanuel reminds us about obsession. So obsession, before we dive deeper here, let's recap, right? In the Medium's book by Kardec, we know that obsession is a persistent negative thought. And that can happen between a discarnate and incarnate. It can happen between discarnate and discarnates, and it can also happen between incarnates and incarnates. So the first, I think, assessment question for all of us today is, I am being an obsessor of someone else? And you're like, oh my gosh, Daisy, don't ask that. But we need to assess ourselves, right? We need to study ourselves. And how do we know it? Do we have a persistent negative thought about someone or something? Because we're going to read on this message that it goes beyond the obsession of the individual, but is an organizational-wide obsession. So that's the first assessment questions for us. Are we being an obsessor of someone else? Because if we do have that persistent negative thought, we need to go there and readdress that under our hearts. Talk to our guardian angels to help us, sometimes to forgive someone, to be more tolerant, more understanding, because that connection, right, that we made, that thought to thought connection, that thought, the negativity, right? What are the results? The results, we can say, in, not to be simplistic here because it's much more complex, but it turns out to what we're seeing, right, with the pandemic wide, because this negativity, right, it affects our mental health, it affects then our physical body, and then it manifested sometimes through diseases in our bodies and through many other things, right? But Emmanuel today is focusing on organizational wide. He's talking here obsessions that happen in human organizations and institutions. Obsession by evil spirits. And what are those? Well, we know what is evil, right? Evil is just the lack, like the lack yet of knowledge or the lack of yet of the good, right? We know that evil is passing, but it's still existence. We're still in a world of trial and expiations, even though we're transitioning now to a world of regeneration, right? But we need to we need to know that we are on earth. So yes, there are those who don't want to see the Christ conscience, right? Because it's much more. Christ is the figure, right? Jesus is the figure for us, but he brings the Christ conscience, right? And that goes beyond the Jesus, the person is his teachings, right? What he brought to us. So here he's talking about when we have these infiltrations, and he goes on from political arenas to sometimes in commerce, so in institutions, right? Through what? Through discord, through tyranny. He's very precise. Selfishness, ambition, through pride, vanity, dogmatism. So, assessment question, the next assessment question for all of us then is, are we the ones in our works, in our work, our family, our institutions? Are we the ones that are bringing those negative or those evil spirits through our pride, through our vanity? And we can see, right? We don't need to go far and turn on the news to see how this is widespread in our society nowadays. And we see this very, very, very clearly. But what is on us, right? The most important thing is for us, how are we contributing to change this? So is when we're there, right? In a business meeting sometimes, and there's an opportunity to be the one who says, no, I think that is not right, right? That let's not go on that direction. That would not be the Christ conscious. But what? There are ambition behind it, there's pride, right? And you say, but Deise, sometimes like, what can I do, right? It is the system, right? What I'm gonna be able to change the system? Well, friends, I'm asking also the same questions, but Emmanuel is reminding us that Jesus came to bring us the good news, and Jesus came also to show us that those who would follow him, the trademarks would be courage, faith, and joy. So, courage, are we being courageous to be the ones that sometimes don't enter in the gossip mill? Sometimes we say the positive word about someone, or the one who who says, no, I don't believe this is the right way to go, or we remove ourselves from the situation. But the most important is for us to acknowledge how this is happening, not only this influence of evil spirits among us, but it also institutions, in countries, in governance. And he says here on the last paragraph, it is necessary to be on the alert in the presence of such subtle, because it's very subtle, right? Very, very subtle. It starts, has, you don't even realize. And when you open your eyes, there you are in the desert, right? Because it says, for the enemy has also infiltrated the circles of evangelical spiritism, dressed in the glistening tunics of false knowledge. So again, is another assessment question for us. As we are part of here, we're here in Kardec Radio, we're part of maybe spiritist organizations where we are we letting this infiltrate our organizations through our false knowledge? So let's go back. Let's study, right? Let's study Jesus' teachings. Let's go back to the foundation. Let's study Kardec's book. And we say, oh, but I have read. No, but let's read it again. Let's read the Spirit's book, the medium's book, the gospel. Let's really work on that foundation so that we don't let this infiltration. Think about a boat, right? It starts with a small crack, as the mentors always remind us, and the Spirit Society of Virginia. It starts with a very small crack that you don't really see, but the water is there. It's coming and it's coming. And when you realize it, it has already taken over the whole boat. So let's go there and let's patch it. Let's address it so that it doesn't really sinks the whole boat, because that's what those evil spirits, that's what they want. They want to go there and create discord, sometimes among members of the same group. They create conflicts, right? It's that voice that comes in your ear, but oh, that person, why? And again, it's subtle, it's very subtle. And that's why Jesus told us, let's watch and pray, right? Let's watch and pray, because that is how we can truly protect ourselves. So Emmanuel today brings to us a very, very deep message, but very important as we are going through this pandemic, so that we can reflect, how is this happening in the institutions that we are part of? And what are we doing? Are we being the crack in the boat, friends? Are we letting and opening doors through our thoughts, our feelings, words, and actions to those? So we can go back, as he said, to the base. Let's go back to Jesus' teachings, and that is working on that within our hearts. Most important, before we sit there and judge others, let's assess how are we doing, and then let's go there in our hearts, and then let's readdress it so that we can then contribute in the work of the Christ, and not be contribute without even noticing to those that come and are against him. So with those reflections, friend, I invite you now for our final prayer. I'm gonna put some music. Thank you, friends. I see here Carol and Susan, Abby, Luciana, Junior, Saul and Betty. Thank you, guys. And for those that I don't see you, a big, big welcoming. So let's focusing on the music, okay, friends? Hope you can hear. So let's close our eyes now. And let us imagine ourselves walking alongside the lake where Jesus taught us 2,000 years ago. We are there by the margins of the Tiberias Lake. We feel at peace because we know that Jesus, our Master, is by our side. He kindly caresses our head and our shoulders and reminds us that his lessons didn't end on the Calvary. It actually continues to live in our hearts, but that he trusts us with the task to make a daily effort to rebalance ourselves, to study, and study especially ourselves, our deep, deep thoughts and feelings, so that we don't open doors for obsession or obsessors. And we are not the ones obsessing others in our lives. Jesus now invites us to travel with him and take baskets of healing flowers to those in our lives who are in much greater need than us. Let us imagine ourselves there, delivering the baskets of flowers to those who are suffering in both realms of life. We also travel to the deep regions of our planet, where those who are still not yet aware of Jesus' love, or they not yet comprehend his teachings, that we take these baskets of healing flowers, inviting them to join on his partnership, the teamwork efforts of Jesus. We then raise our thoughts to our Master, thanking him for giving us the preciousness of this reincarnation. Dear Master, we cannot change the past, but each day you brings us a new day, which is truly a present and a gift in our lives. Let us not take this day for granted. Let us reflect in our time on earth and put our time to the best use. Father, give us strength so that we can be courageous in the daily situations in our lives. bringing the joy of living and your unshakable faith to our political areas and arenas, to our business and workplaces, to our places of worship and our spiritual centers, to our community and society, being a living example of your love. As you blessed us in this night and this evening, whenever we are, we pray that you continue nourishing our souls today and always. And so be it. Thank you, dear friends, for these moments of prayer. We invite you to join us tomorrow here at Kardec Radio on our daily prayer program at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we look forward to seeing you here in Kardec Radio, where we are always, always nourishing our souls. Have a beautiful day and evening, and we'll see you next time, friends. Bye bye.